So if you are not familiar with the University of Iowa, we are located in Iowa City, which is on the eastern side of the state of Iowa. So right in the heart of the Midwest. Iowa City is a small city, so we have about 75,000 total people here in Iowa City. And I'll explain in a moment exactly what that means for campus as well. So this slide kind of explains it pretty well. This is the majority of our campus in one photo. I am not sure if you can see the cursor of my mouse, but if you can, I'm kind of outlining here exactly what is campus. The great thing about the University of Iowa is that we are a Big Ten institution. So we have that Big Ten school spirit and the NCAA Division I teams and all of that kind of stuff right on our campus. But right across the street from campus is downtown Iowa City. So we are not separate from the community in any way, shape, or form. Something that kind of makes us stand out a little bit from other institutions is that we have that kind of small town feel in the downtown Iowa City area. That starts right here down in the bottom left corner of the screen where it says hundreds of ways to play. In that area, it is all small businesses, a lot of which are owned by University of Iowa alumni, which is fantastic. They are staying in the community. There's places for students to head downtown, go to a coffee shop, study together, get lunch with their parents when they're in town. There's bowling alleys and movie theaters and community theaters and all sorts of different types of arts and literature. We are one of the best cities for the arts, and also we were recently voted one of the best places to live in the United States for both college town and communities as well. So it's a really great community with a lot to offer. And then right across the street, you have the majority of our campus as well. So our campus looks a little bit large, but the nice thing about the university is it's pretty well organized. So if you see the heart of campus with that big gold domed building in the center, that is the old Capitol building. So that's kind of the center of our campus, and expanding outwards from there are all of our academic buildings. They span about 3 or 4 blocks on the east side of our campus. And as an undergrad, that is where you are located about 90 to 100% of the time. Across the banks of the river, you may have a couple of classes or you may live over there, but for the most part, the west side of our campus has the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics, which is one of the best teaching hospitals and one of the largest in the country. So some great healthcare resources. We also have our athletics over there and a few undergraduate programs, but for the most part, you're pretty centered. In terms of student population, we have about 31,000 total students, but that does include graduate and professional students. So our undergraduate population is typically around 23,000 students, breaking down to just over 5,000 in each class. So we are very happy to kind of be one of the smaller schools in the Big Ten, but still have that Big Ten experience for our students. In terms of academics, we are very proud to be who we are. One of the kind of hallmarks of going to the University of Iowa are our abilities in writing. So we were voted the #2 public university for writing in the disciplines. Basically, this means no matter which degree you obtain from the University of Iowa, you'll come out a better writer because it's ingrained in every single curriculum across our 200 areas of study. We are also a Tier 1 research institute, so all of our professors are conducting research on campus, which means students have the opportunity to conduct research as well or participate in those research opportunities. So about 1 in 3 of our undergraduates currently do so. And we have pretty small class sizes as well, so only 4% of our courses campus-wide are more than 100 students. Over 80% of them are less than 30. So quite a small classroom experience most of the time here on our campus. If you do have one of those larger courses with more than 100 students, we pair that large section with a smaller discussion section later in the week that does have less than 25 or 30 students in it. We also have plenty of academic resources across our campus, everything from supplemental instruction, which is taught by current students that can share study tips and resources across campus, writing labs, math labs, chemistry labs, and of course, professor office hours. So you get to know your faculty and your staff, or your faculty and your teaching assistants quite well as well. I always say as well that when it comes to looking at a college or a university, of course, it matters what your major might be and whether they offer that and financial fit and those types of things. But I do also want to mention that it's really important to find a community. So on our campus, we have over 600 student organizations that help students do that. These run the gambit of anything from Greek life to political organizations, volunteer organizations, organizations that don't have a category at all. We've had organizations dedicated to knitting, to breakfast foods, to watching the sunset on campus. So those are just ways for you to find a community of students, and that is going to make your experience all the better. We also have a thriving division of performing arts, which does not have to be limited to majors. So if you are not a music major or a theater major, that's okay. You still have 400 opportunities to get involved every single year. And of course, we have our athletics on campus as well. And we love going to football games and basketball games and all of that here too. We have 20 Division I teams in the NCAA. So we are very proud of our Hawkeyes. Our students are very proud to go to those games as well. And again, that's a great way to find a community on campus. So touching a bit specifically on the University of Iowa in terms of financial aid, there's a couple differences between us and other institutions. That's, I'd say, a statement that fits across the board. In terms of financial aid for us, merit-based awards are automatic when you apply. And we do have scholarships for both students that apply with or without a test score. I always encourage students just to contact our office with questions when it comes to test scores and merit-based awards and things like that. But just so you are aware, that's an automatic process as long as you apply to our institution by the published deadline. We do also encourage all of our applicants to file the free application for federal student aid so that they can be considered for any need-based aid and have access to those federal student loans. We also offer some opportunities for scholarships on campus through the Iowa Scholarship Portal. And I'm always an advocate, especially for students that are coming to us right from high school, to check the local area as well for scholarships. From there, we kind of put together a financial aid offer letter and work with our families one-on-one to determine if the University of Iowa is a good financial fit. Something important to note is that we are not a CSS profile school, and there are no other applications for aid that you need to worry about. Truly, applying to the University of Iowa by the March 1st deadline of your senior year and filling out the FAFSA is the majority of your aid process. And we are very much so an office that will gladly share with you that general information so that you know everything you need to do throughout the financial aid process to be successful.